to Killarney. I'm Laura Tangney and I'm delighted to introduce you to our family's heritage brand, Tangneys of Killarney. Here we offer a variety of tour options which showcase Killarney's truly beautiful scenery of Killarney National Park and lakes. We have two brands under this umbrella of Tangneys of Killarney, which is Killarney Jaunting Cars, which offers Killarney traditional jaunting cars in the National Park, and also the Lily of Killarney, which runs scenic boat tours on the famous lakes of Killarney. Killarney is a great place to live, a great place to work, and is a one-stop destination where you can truly enjoy Killarney's beauty. Our story began with my dad, Michael Tangney Senior, who laid the foundation, which has now become a cornerstone of Killarney's tourism industry. Over the years, we have evolved and enhanced our tour offerings, but our commitment to showcasing Killarney's beauty, heritage and history has remained steadfast. And this is why it is truly special to be part of this family business, its history and heritage.
So welcome to Killarney, guys. Michael Tangney is my name, and I'm a fifth generation Jarvey of the Tangney family. So this is Big John, our steed, jaunt just along here in Killarney National Park, which is one of our major assets here in this beautiful town. So it has 26,000 acres of land here. We also are lucky enough to have Ireland's highest mountain range here in the National Park, the McGillicuddy Reeks. Killarney National Park was actually the oldest park in Ireland, donated back in 1932 by the Bourne Vincent family over at Muckross. But this side of the park is known as the Kenmare Estate, was donated in the 70s. Now this forms Killarney National Park, which consists of 26,000 acres. So it's actually a biosphere of the UNESCO site, Killarney National Park. So some of the wildlife in the park will be the red deer, Ireland's oldest mammal. More recent times, in the 1800s, we have the introduction of the Sika deer, little Japanese breed. So all the wildlife in the park are protected. So tourism in Killarney has been going over 250 years. So we had a major arrival back in 1861 of Queen Victoria. So she was lucky enough to stay here for 3 nights, and she arrived to Killarney by train. So back then it was a big deal to have a train station. So she really put us on the map as a destination for visitors. So since the arrival of Queen Victoria, Killarney has grown quite immensely. Population is only about 15,000 in Killarney, but can hold maybe 25,000 guests a night. And on a yearly basis, over 1 million visitors come to Killarney every year. So here in Killarney National Park, there's no motor traffic allowed in here, so the ideal way is to step back in time and take a traditional jaunting car through the parklands down by the lakes of Killarney. Jaunting and tour business has been in our family then back to the 1800s, so jaunting cars will be a main mode of transport back in the day. We're going for a jaunt now, meaning like a leisurely tour, a memorable tour. So jaunting cars traditionally would have been a 2-wheeler vehicle. Now they've been upgraded to 4 wheels, known as a wagonette, covered in from the elements. We have multifaceted tours from boats, jaunting cars, walking tours, kayaking, cycling in the park. So a couple of new additions in more recent years was our food tours. We have whiskey tasting, beer and pizza at the Killarney Brewing Company, and also afternoon tea at the Great Southern Hotel in Killarney. So welcome to the stable. You see my name's Calvin, and you see these are all our working horses now. They're just finished their day now. They're relaxing. You can see this is Ginger inside here. Now Ginger's one of our seasoned veterans. She's been working at this job for a good bit, always old and reliable. She'd be one of the Irish cobs, a proper working horse, bred for real pulling ploughs. You see Ginger, she's a great animal because she always loves to follow all the other horses. As I said, she knows her job at this stage. You see, she's a lovely face, very friendly animals. You can see she's rocking the mohawk at the moment. Got her hair clipped. Then you can see we can move over here now to Big John. Here, boy. You see Big John, he's the mix with the Frisian horse and the draft horse. But then the draft horse, they had the stamina for this kind of work. You see, he's a great wee fella. And he's only about 10 years old now, so he's just about getting into the job. But this fella, he's a pure pet. He loves all the attention he gets, especially from the people. Come on, good boy. You see, he's a little quirk as well. He loves his little sweets. So you have our little polo mints or spearmints here. Work with that. Oh yeah, you love that, don't you? So you see the peppermint's very good for digestion, and then the sugar, they love it. And then you see over here we have our younger horse. This is Cilla Black. She's a recent introduction to our stables.
I'd say she's loving them at the moment. But again, she's the Frisian horse mixed with the Irish cob. So as you see, she's a bit smaller than Big John. But again, she got the stamina from the cob, but the looks from the Frisian. She's stunning. She's only a 5-year-old, recent addition. So she's kind of getting used to all the other horses. These working horses, they're very similar to athletes. So each of them have a very different diet. You see some horses like Ginger here, a good working horse, good size, not too big, not too small. So she's a very average diet. You see these oats here, these are what gives them the energy. So she wants a good bit of these oats to make sure she's never going to be too tired. And then you can see as well we have this mix. Now the mix is great, it's full of protein for them. So make sure they're going to be strong, make sure they're full of kind of muscle, especially pulling people around, pulling carriages around. But then you can see we have these nuts over here, and the nuts, they are very big, but this is what would fill them up in the day. See them there? And a horse like Big John being a lot bigger, see, he needs a lot more nuts than a usual horse, especially one even the size of Ginger. So each horse's tailor-made diet, just to kind of know what they're like. But then you see Scylla as well over here. She needs a good bit of nuts just to make sure she's full of energy so she can grow properly. Being younger, she does need that extra bit of grub. You see each horse in their stable, they also have this. This would be a horse lick. Basically like a big lollipop. So you see it's quite sweet for them, they enjoy it. I'd say Big John wants a small bit of this. I'd say he loves them. But they are great just to get a bit of sugar into them as well. And there'll also be some vitamins in it, which is just stuff that we need them to eat. And then you see also over here, we have these Epsom salt. We also have a salt lick, very similar to that. And you see that's good just if when they're having the salt, means that they're going to be sweating more. So it's good, it gets water into their system, makes them drink a bit as well. And then simple stuff like this, just powder. It's good for their joints. And each horse is different, so you give them a small bit out of each, depending on the horses. But then these horses, being working horses, they're athletes. They're out all day, they really have to be kind of managed and maintained. You see over here we have these ice packs. So certain horses need their legs kind of soothed, just to make sure their muscles aren't getting strained or anything like that. So we put these ice packs on their legs, just to make sure, just to cool down their muscles. Yeah, like a bath, like an ice bath for us. Isn't that right, Big John? So you see we have this pen here as well, because again, they are athletes, they're working hard, their muscles are strained. So you see in the evening, we always like to put them in the pen just to make sure, give them a chance to roll, stretch out fully. Because in the stable, they do get a chance to roll, but not properly. So that's why we like to put them inside here. And the pen, it's simple, it's just sand with a bit of kind of carpet fibres in it as well, because it's very soft for them. And as you see, she's sniffing around at the moment, wondering if there's any feed for her. But then she'll also sniff around just to smell her location, to kind of figure out where she wants to roll. Yeah, there you go. Now, there you go. A lovely grunt. That's it. Good girl. You see, with the horses, we do a small bit on the main road, and on the main road you have unpredictabilities. You have cars, you have buses, you have trucks, you have tractors. You have to watch out for all these things. And it's great because each horse has a good trust in the driver. We always like to have a good strong bond with each horse because then they're reassured by you, they listen to you. In the morning when the horses come in, immediately each driver knows their own horse. So they go up and they tie them up and they start feeding them immediately. And then just while they're eating, you also brush them. You give them a good groom down, take any loose hairs off them, any mud, any dirt from the stable or from the field as well. And then after that, every driver knows their own gear as well, knows their own horse. They know the sizes, know which gears fits each horse and the way they pull. So certain horses, they use a full collar, then certain horses only use the breast collar strapped across their breast, because each horse is different. Very like people, they have their own clothes and their own sizes. Like each horse, they are great because they're not just an animal, they're almost a pet, a part of the family really.
We have a lot of acres here just around Killarney that we let the horses off grazing in. In the background, you have Ireland's highest mountain range, the McGillicuddy Reek. So we're lucky here in Ireland that we have plenty of grass, nice climate for these animals, you know. It doesn't get too humid here. This time of year now, the horses are just starting to put on their winter coat as well, so they're getting a bit more hairier. So when the weather does get a bit bad, a bit cooler here, we'll have to put jackets on them at night time, and right through the winter they'll have jackets on them full time to keep condition on them, keep them comfortable and warm. Have them comfortable, that's the main thing. And we actually give them a haircut in the summertime then, so we actually cut all their manes off, keep them cool. So this is Benson here. He's a 3-year-old. He's actually one of our homebred horses. We bred him off one of our older mares, which is kind of semi-retired. So he's 3. He's been in training with the last couple of winters. He has done a little bit of work this springtime, but he probably won't be in full-time work till next year, realistically, because he's still young. They grow to about 6 or 7 years of age. Height-wise, he's probably fully grown, but he'll probably fill out body-wise. This girl here now, she's just coming tree as well. She's trained. Again, she's not on the full-time roster yet. So hopefully next year she'll do a little bit of work. So they really won't be full-time horses till about maybe 5 years of age, because you don't want to spoil them. You don't want to give them too much work when they're young. Dusty, the far-off grey one, she was one of our older horses, retired. She's coming on maybe 20 years of age. We've had a couple of foals off in the last couple of years, so this is her retirement home. Some of the other horses, they're 3 years of age. They're also like Benson and Grace here, they're in training, and hopefully next year, the year after, they'll be full-time. So Bailey here and Benson, they're 3 years of age. Kind of start working the horses at around that age, 3 or 4 years of age. Work them to up around maybe 20 years of age, depending on your horse too. Lifespan of a horse, maybe up to around 30 years, depending on the horse. So when they retire from us, we keep them actually just for horse riding. We breed the mares for a couple of years. So we often have people looking for pets, you know. They want a pet horse at home. So horse riding is a big thing. And as therapy horses, you know, children with autism, Down syndrome, so they're ideal for that. So basically when the horses kind of retire full-time from working, maybe when they're about 15, 20 years of age, they might do maybe a couple of days a month just to kind of keep them some way fit, you know, some purpose in life, you know, but they're not really full-time horses, you know. Like everybody, we all get old, we all don't like working full-time.
Their handling kind of starts from when they're born. Going up, rubbing them, getting them to eat out of your hand. And nearly one of the biggest obstacles, you know, is putting the head collar on them. Getting them used to touching their ears and rubbing them and stuff like that. Lifting up their legs as well for the farrier, for the blacksmith. Get them used to being the hose as well, washing them down. They must get used to that.
This is Fiona here. She's one of our older mares, so we bred her last year. And lo and behold, she had little Jimmy, who is only 3 months old. Here, Jimmy. Jimmy's a little bit shy, so he's curious. So Fiona's very protective of Jimmy. So his colour now is kind of yellowy, but he will turn black. You can see he's starting to change already at his back legs. And he has 3 white legs and a white face, so kind of similar to Mom. So the breed is kind of like, you could say like a mini Clydesdale, mini Shire, kind of like a little Irish cob. So he'll probably go into training maybe next winter when he's about 1.5 years. So he'll go into like mouting, where we go long rein him, lean across their backs for riding, picking up their legs, washing their legs, grooming. The next winter we'll probably get him to pull maybe a tyre around the yard to get him used to working. Throughout our growth, we've stayed true to our roots by showcasing authentic experiences that connect to the real Ireland.